Well, good day, my fellow Canadians. Thanks again for watching one of my videos. I appreciate it. I know I got a small following, but what the hell. The folks that do watch, again, thank you kindly for watching. This video is on, Canada Day's tomorrow, and so I was just going to do a quick video on, things that make me proud to be a Canadian and things I love about the country. One of the things that I'm very proud of in Canada is our military history. I mean, you got to hand it to Canadian troops. I mean, First and Second World Wars, Korea, Afghanistan, peacekeeping missions around the world. Canadians have always been front and center. We've always done our job, and there's a lot of white crosses and war memorials scattered across this nation to show, and in Europe to show, the price we paid for democracy. Some people will talk about this country and say, "Oh, we don't want to celebrate Canada Day," and a lot of negative stuff. Yeah, Canada's not perfect, and it's had some dark parts in its past, but has it every country? I mean, countries are run by people, and people are not infallible, so everyone's going to make mistakes, Canada included. But the content of and the character of your nation is how you learn from those mistakes and how you proceed forward and try not to make them again. And Canada does a pretty good job at that. Other things we have here is our healthcare system. Now, universal healthcare, I know it's a lot of nations have it. And in Canada, yeah, the system's a little broken, but I would still rather be able to go to a hospital. Yes, I know I'd have to wait 15 hours in the emergency, but I know that I can walk in there and then walk out with my MRI and my x-rays and my diagnosis of what's wrong with me, and it didn't cost me $215,000 and bankrupt me, or maybe even denied services because I didn't have the proper health care insurance coverage. So, that's another thing that Canadians should be proud of, that we have that. Yes, it needs work. It certainly does, just like everything else, but at least we have it, which is a plus. Everything you have in Canada is you have freedom of movement, freedom of expression, freedom of speech, freedom of the press. These are all guaranteed to us of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms and the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. And, some people... They scoff at that. They go, "Oh, that's a right." But you know what? There are a lot of countries out there where those rights, you have a newspaper and you say something wrong about the government, well, you're either whisked away and not never seen again, or your family and you were kidnapped or shot. So to have those rights and those freedoms is something that we overlook, and it's something in Canada that is that's a blessing. It's one of the things that makes us proud to, should make you proud to be a Canadian. They were fought and died for by our troops, on the backs of our troops. Democracy is never perfect, but it is better than the alternative. And, Canada's still learning. We're still a young country, but we are a country that's full of innovators. We have great minds, great scientists, great musicians, great artists. I mean, the Canada Arm, one of the things that we made. Pablum, insulin, garbage bags are a Canadian invention, if you can believe that one. And then great artists, and just the respect that Canadians have around the world is an amazing thing. And I've seen it. I've been to a few countries around the world. I'm not a world traveler by any means, but when I've been to those countries, I mean, they have always treated Canadians with respect, and just said how much they admire us and what we stand for. And, as much as I enjoy visiting other countries and seeing their cultures and, rich histories, I can't wait to get back here. I mean, I can't wait to come back to Canada. There's just something about this land and this nation that, it's just, I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I mean, it's just gorgeous. I mean, where else can you go and visit 3 oceans bordering your own country, or see the Northern Lights, or, it's just one of those countries that's just, there's so many amazing things. Trans-Canada Highway, and we have a highway that goes coast to coast. It's just a nation with a rich history, rich cultural background. People are banging down on the immigrants lately, but I mean, you need immigrants, and the country was built on immigration. I mean, every one of us came from somewhere else, except for, the indigenous populations. But I mean, the amount of cultural things that that we experience here. I mean, you have Jewish foods and Arabic foods and Asian foods and European and, the Caribbean, South America, Africa. and not including just the foods, but just the different cultures and the different clothing styles that you see, and different languages and different things that we've learned over the years, and different innovations that they brought with them from their own nations and made this country even better. It's it's just, and it's a safe spot to live. I mean, you can get on any train, plane, anything in this country and not be expect to be blown out of the sky or taken hostage. I mean, Canada, it's free. You can travel anywhere you want, and you don't have people with border checkpoints set up within your own nation asking you for your papers or asking you, are you a Canadian citizen, or why are you traveling? I mean, you get in your car, you get in your truck, and you go. That's just the way it is. It's just that's the freedoms that we enjoy are it's a lot of times taken for granted, but they're it makes you proud. Women's rights. I mean, women here have the right to choose. We have gay rights, things that other countries are sort of reverting back to the older ways, and Canada is still being an innovator in those sections. I mean, those are things to be proud of and things to look at and say, hey, you know what, you're right. As in, if you're in the gay community, you just know that you should be safe. I mean, again, still things have to work on, like anything, but it's there. I don't know. I love this country. And I said, I think there's a lot of hate sometimes happens on it. People look down on it or stuff, but you can't focus on the negative all the time. And yeah, things happen. Every country has its dark history. Every country has its past. But again, you have to move on, and then you have to look at it in the context of that. At the time that those things were done, that was the norm. And we now know that it isn't, and we strive to make change. We still have work to do, of course, but we can only do that if we're united, if we all stand together. And if you want change, you got to go out there and use your voice and try and make a difference somehow. That's the power of the vote, power of your voice, power of assembly. You're allowed to do those things. And but overall, happy Canada Day to all you folks out there. And I said, just be I'm just real happy to see what goes on. And if you don't want to attend the Canada Day celebration, hey, next time you're walking by a war memorial there in your little town or your city, stop by. I know it's not just for Remembrance Day. Stop by and give thanks. Look at the names that are written there. If it wasn't for those folks, we wouldn't be having Canada Day. So stay safe, everybody, for the holiday. Thank you again for watching. Maple Leaf forever. Signing off.